I am with a lot of you that I love that we get to have a zoology facility here where we get to help with conservation and teaching about animals and driving that passion for all the animals, all the wild animals, and even our farm. But I'm with y'all. There's something about a dog as a pet. People go, what is your favorite animal? Like, well, the only one that comes to me consistently is my dog. So, and that's not even very consistently, but he does come to us and we think he's amazing. So the zoo, interesting, I thought you guys might all like to hear this. Here, the zoo is actually guarded by livestock guardian dogs called Great Pyrenees and Antilian Shepherds. And what they do, they actually patrol the property at night to ensure that other wild dogs don't come in, thieves don't come in, and coyotes. So they actually are a dog that was bred to be instinctively guardians of livestock, and they've taken on the livestock part of our zoo plus the other part. So dogs are incredible animals. So along with, it's obviously I run a zoo, so all animals are. So pick an animal and I can talk about it for hours. But let me introduce the two of us real quick. My name is Hope, and today actually you get to hear a little bit from me, and I love Kenny. I don't know how that I'm not sure how they address you. So Kenny, what is how that works now? Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Unfortunately, I see the name on there. That's what I go by. But so talking about, we want to also help you guys kind of navigate maybe some of the career options that you're looking at into animals or questions you have about animals, and also just to learn about some really cool species. Now, 30 minutes would go really fast because you have me who love to talk about animals. You have Angie, this is Angie, who also loves to talk about animals. And I'm particularly passionate about helping people find the career choice and their passions in life. So, and one of the reasons is that I'm actually the director, founder of Wildlife Wonders. And we found this about 30 years ago, and it was just a small dream that started out with me taking out a few animals to school to growing into what is now a full zoo of over 400 animals with approximately 30 staff or team members and a huge conservation program. So, but it all started with a little bitty dream with a little girl out of college that everybody said couldn't do it. So we'll talk about more of that if you want to hear more. But we do want to start with some fun animals. So we're gonna let Angie, by the way, Angie's actually an educator. She is worked with animals a lot of years of her life and been around a lot of different ages. So love to share her passion with animals. So she is actually new here on the virtual scene with us. So we're going to be tag teaming a little bit on these animals, but she's going to bring out her first animal. I told her to surprise me. So we're going to see what we get. And first question, at any point, you guys are more than happy to, more welcome to type in your question and we'll get to those. And then we'll have a time when you can ask questions also. One thing you'll figure out, or we have not figured out, I actually do have a severe hearing loss. I wear 2 hearing aids. I read lips most of the time. So Zoom is a little harder for me. However, that's why I have Angie, and that's why we have cell phones and fingers to type. But I will try to, if I look at Angie like I'm lost, it's because I didn't quite catch the question, but she can repeat it to me or we'll get it. But again, the story for me has been an incredible story of how, like, when I was younger, something I did not think and I was told I could not overcome and be able to connect people with animals because of my severe hearing loss. So God has shown otherwise in my life. So I love sharing what God says. Hey, you'd be amazed what you can overcome with just knowing if you follow the passion of your heart and just tenacity, not giving up. I'm sure you guys have heard these great words in your careers or in your high school years. So you guys are an incredible age, you know. I love high schoolers. So you guys are navigating all kinds of things. I will tell you, I don't want to go back to high school. So kudos to you. And I just hope you get through it well and know that I am cheering you on because each season of our life is something to navigate, but also something to embrace and enjoy because you can't go back. So, all right. Wow. All right. Let's have this first animal come on up. Let's see if anybody can chat it in, type it in what you think this is.
Let's go, Tavon.
Hedgehog.
Very good.
It's a hedgehog.
This is a hedgehog, an African hedgehog. Can everybody see his nose? Yeah. So this one will curl up when he gets a little bit worried. You'll see how he gets all curled up. Well, now he's not going to. He wants to.
So he's a little.
He says
hello.
He wants to come actually through there to say hi. Let's see if we can get him to curl up. Come on. There he goes.
That's how I look. That's how I look when I do sit-ups, I think.
You can see all the hair Those are his bristles. It's just like normal fur, except that it's very, very prickly. They're not quite as prickly as a porcupine. Well, he really wants to come see you guys. I think he likes you.
So these guys are insectivores. All right, guys, what do insectivores eat? Insectivores.
Type
You
it
can
in the
chat, you can
chat.
type it in.
Type it in the chat. What do insectivores eat?
Going back to kids, go, oh, there we go. Good job. Bugs and insects, you got it, bugs and insects. So I always say, like, you know, we eat them too. Just take your like earthworms and dip them in chocolate, be yummy, yummy, right? So, but these guys are great. That's how they know they actually do a lot of bugs and insects. They, as she was showing you, the quills are their protection. So when they are scared and nervous, they will roll into a ball. And those quills will pop up and they'll make like a bump. They'll like make a little funny noise and jump. Now, as you can tell, this guy is overly social. He has no fear of you guys, so he is not rolling into a ball. He just like wants to check everything out. So hedgehogs are not actually related to porcupines at all, but they both share the same quality of having quills. And as she said, Angie said, it's pretty cool. The quills are actually hollow hair follicles. So is your hair hollow and hardened? And that's actually what they are. So, all right. These guys are, like, oh yeah, they're from Africa. Do you guys have a question about the hedgehog? Because I'll just keep talking if not. So the there you go. I lost my train of thought. Oh, little bitty eyes, because these guys, typically, this is what's interesting about these guys. They have small eyes and a long nose, but are they nocturnal or diurnal?
Ooh, not
There's your one, Tony.
or diurnal.
They up during the day or up during the night?
Nocturnal, meaning up during the night.
He's leaving.
Very good, you got it. So this one is a trick question because typically nocturnal animals have very big eyes, but because hedgehogs actually rely on their nose and actually roll up into a ball, they have small eyes, but they come out at night. The main reason, logically, they're smart enough to realize all of their predator friends are up during the day, so why not come out at night? And so they can navigate better at night, and bugs and insects are around all the time, and that's why they come out more at night at times. So these guys are navigating the way through Africa. They're called hedgehogs because they like to live under hedges or bushes, and they are found throughout Africa. There is a European version of a hedgehog called European hedgehog. Longer ears, longer nose, but similar, very similar to this little guy. So it's one of our favorite animals. So
one of the students asked, does that animal have a name? And do you have any tips to take care of one if you had one as a pet?
So this guy does have a name. It's not very original. He's Aquila. So
I like it.
We get to Aquila. Yep. So and then as far as pets, so they are not legal in Georgia as pets. You don't find them in some states are legal as pets. The situation with more exotic species is not that they don't make good pets or non-pets, is make sure you do your research, know what you're getting into. So hedgehogs are super, super cute, but just like we were talking about, they're not going to come when you call them. There's only going to be so much behavior if they do. So while they're really cute, they're not going to be cuddly. They're not going to come when they call. And there's a point where we find more than anything is people tend to get more bored with them. It's like they're a novelty at first, but since they don't train well like other animals, like honestly, I think rats make great pets because they're really smart and trainable. So if you can have an aquarium with a pet, pick a rat, not a hedgehog. But again, if you're not in Georgia and somebody wants a hedgehog as a pet, they are available. We just don't see all the reasons why. However, each to their own, and there's all different types of animals that you can keep as pets. As long as I always say, do your research, know what you're getting into. And ultimately, if your end game is that you really want to learn more about animals and training, or even getting into the zoological world or conservation, there's a lot of other ways to do that too. So I encourage pets when you can, though, like you with dogs, because you get teaches so much responsibility. Just pick your pet wisely.
Yeah, the big thing about when you're taking care of exotic animals of any sort is going to be your habitat, what they live in, and what kind of exercise they get, what kind of light they need, their water and their food. It's all about trying to recreate their environment in as best a way as possible so that the shock to their system is not as rough. So you've got, even if you look, some of you guys said you like spiders. If you look at certain types of spiders, some of them will do well in an aquarium and some of them won't. Some of them will need a great big aquarium, some will need a little box. So it really, every species has a particular environment they need to be part of. And that's the biggest That's probably the biggest part about keeping exotic animals. We're gonna bring this thing out for you.
I only brought it up after I heard you guys talking, just so you know. It was not on my list. I radioed one of my keepers just for my spider lovers. And let me tell you, see if I can get over here. Ah, there we go.
Man, you're brave.
So,
That's a tarantula. That
Ooh.
is an arachnid. So they're not quite like insects. They have 8 legs, not, I mean, not 10, yeah,
Yeah,
they have
you
8
got it.
legs.
yep.
Yep. So how old is this arachnid?
This guy is actually only about 6 months old. He's only
He's
1/3 of the way
young, yeah.
grown. And this is a pink
What,
toad.
wait,
A pink
that
toad.
you said that's 1/3 of his actual
Yeah.
size?
Yeah, he's not very big.
It's like her whole hand.
Yeah, I've seen some that will cover the entire
Three legs.
palm.
This one, yeah, this one will cover. I'm trying not to. There you go.
Oh,
Isn't
wow.
it cute?
There's so much love going on in the chat right now. There's a lot of, oh my gosh, that's so nice. I love them. Oh my goodness. I'm
I
with,
love
I'm with
watching.
Mrs. Stokes on the no thanks. That's scary. Thank you, Tamara. Yeah, I'm with y'all.
So yeah, I literally radio was like, okay, we got to see if we can get a tarantula up here. So these guys have actually 4 eyes on top of their head. It's pretty cool. They're like the size of pin dots. I'm trying to show them to you. What looks like 2, like, is 4 little dots, or the 4 eyes on top of their head. Their skeleton is on the outside of their body. That's pretty cool. So they have an ectoskeleton. Our skeleton on the inside, so it's endoskeleton. Ectoskeleton means it's on the outside, and when they actually shed, it's called molting. They look like they're molting an entire another tarantula. If I had the other shed up here, I'd bring it. It's really cool looking. When you see it, you think it's either a dead tarantula or you've multiplied tarantulas, but it's really just their shed. The issue with having their ectoskeleton or skeleton on the outside actually makes them really fragile. It's kind of like an egg. If you drop an egg, what happens? Boom, it explodes. This guy I'm being really careful with, because if I were to drop him, he could shatter. So here's this crazy animal that scares a lot of people. People have nightmares about it. It's actually one of the most fragile animals in the world. And so he really doesn't want to take me off. He does have fangs. He could dig his fangs into my hand at any given point. But he probably knows if he digs his fangs into my hand, I'm probably going to toss him. And then his life would be short-lived. So he probably won't do that. If he did, it would be like a bee sting for this species. Now, some species are much more toxic or venomous, not toxic, venomous than others. Most of these guys carry the same kind of venom as a bee. So it's not that much, but there are a few species that do carry heavy loads of venom that you don't want to get bit by. Either way, their fangs, the good news, on the bottom of their body. So unless you're trying to pick one up or squeeze it or hug it and call it your own, probably, whoops.
Hey,
They're not
I'm
gonna
backing
get
up.
bit by
I'm
it.
backing up through my camera. I'm backing up. Whoa. Too close, buddy.
He's so cute. So their little hair is pretty cool, because their hair is actually, if again, know what their defense is, they'll shoot those hairs, and the hairs will like go up into the nostrils of the predator or animal. It'll cause them to gag. And again, with these guys, I can know when he's nervous. First of all, I can see his hairs, and also he'll get very agitated, and they actually can raise up and show you their fangs. So he usually gives me some warning. If anything, they mostly here get nervous and may move a little faster. And so I don't want them hurting themselves. So we're moving pretty slowly. But so this is a tarantula up close and personal. And this is the one time I bet a lot of you are like, I'm glad this is on Zoom.
Yes. So glad it's Zoom. So glad it's Zoom.
Awesome. All right, do you have any questions so far? While we're talking about the different animal, I do want you to think about questions you have about careers too. Even here at the zoo, to give you an idea, we have a vet that comes out to take care of animals. We actually work with conservation groups that do research on animals in other countries. So like I just got back from a trip from South Africa, where we joined a group of people that were actually studying cheetahs and trying to develop a program or work on a program where cheetahs could cohabitate with farms. And they were actually using livestock guardian dogs to protect the farm, so that when the cheetahs came through, the livestock guardian dogs would chase the cheetahs away. That would protect the cheetahs, because cheetahs are another endangered species. We also went, and there's in South Africa, there is a black-footed penguin, which is one of the few warm weather penguins, only like this big. And they're actually a very endangered species. They went from 200,000 to approximately 50,000. And we actually have that species here we're breeding. So we went to help them record the babies and collect data on them and work with some programs there. So there's conservation jobs, there's biology jobs. If you like the hands-on, right, with the spiders and tarantulas, you can do other stuff too. Herpetology and working at a zoo here, all the jobs, everything from education, which is what Angie does, to helping navigate the animal care part, which means actually taking care of the animals, feeding and cleaning. A lot of people think about zookeeping as a very like, oh, that'd be a cool job to get to play with animals. Reality is, if you have a pet, you know this, it's a whole lot of cleaning up poop and a whole lot of cleaning. But the cool thing is you get to do something you know that you're giving back and you're making a difference in the lives of animals and you're helping to pass on education, the passion for the natural wildlife that we have. So, all right, Angie is ready with her next animal.
All right, does anybody know what this is? Notice the head with the ears, the long tail.
And it's not Mickey Mouse.
Comes from the Andes in South America.
Hey, there you go. Good
Chinchilla,
job.
very good. If you pet, everybody do the virtual petting.
Yes,
That's right.
virtual pet.
Very
yes.
good job. Good job, everybody.
Soft. Now, these guys are endangered. They've been endangered for quite some time because they are so soft. Everybody wanted a chinchilla muff. They wanted the fur around their necks. It is very, very soft. It's better than rabbit.
Hey.
But if you look
She's
at
right.
these little faces, they are extremely quiet little creatures. They're good at balancing. Well, if he doesn't try to go backwards on us.
Actually, I like to demonstrate my way,
There you
especially
go.
for high school when they think it's they're past it. Right, stay there. She's my rock. There you go.
There they are.
They actually have padded feet so they can balance on rocks. So we're using her head as a rock right now. And they'll go from rock to rock. There you go. And he's gonna just okay, we'll come back.
You want to see the feet? So this is the foot. Can they see that?
Oh,
So you can see the pads.
it's so cute.
Yeah, they are a lot. Now, this is even cuter.
So that's the mama chinchilla.
Let me show you what she brought with her. Babies.
Oh.
So
So
this
listen,
is mom.
so
That's
so
her
there are a
baby.
couple of things. There are a couple of things in the chat, and I just want to make sure I ask to verify one, and we'll get back to these. There were some students that were asking about your job title and if you guys allow volunteers, like student volunteers. And there's a couple of questions now. They're saying that if chinchillas take baths in water, it can be detrimental to their health.
Very good. That's actually thank you. That is a very brilliant question because you're absolutely right. These guys require, were they here last time did they come to your last presentation?
No, not that
No,
student.
very good. So they cannot get in the water. They have about 60 hair follicles per, 60 hairs per follicle. So if they were to get wet, actually it causes their entire body to chill. So what they actually require is a dust bath. And the Andes Mountain has volcanic ashes mostly, so they roll into the volcanic ashes to get all the grease and all of the oils off their fur to keep it nice and fluffy. So the one thing that's most harmful for them actually is getting wet. So they'll go, that's why they live up in the dry Andes Mountain area. They go under the rock. Wet and cold do not mix with them at all. So we do keep them in dry climate. And we give them a bowl of volcanic ash and they roll it. But they have to pet them. They hate it when they get the oils. They like to be petted, but they don't like the oil. So they'll roll and get all those oils off and poof, fluff up like a cotton ball again. So that is a very good question. Did you catch the other question?
No, I didn't hear the
Okay.
other question.
I didn't catch the other question.
Oh, they were asking about whether or not you guys take student volunteers. Like, can students
Yeah, okay.
volunteer?
We love that question. So we actually have a great intern program. In fact, we recommend people who are not sure what part of the animals they want to go into, or they know they want to go into zoology, or working as a zookeeper, or working as an educator, or working in conservation, to do an internship program, because what you'll learn in that is what part you like. Because even in a zoo like us, we have a commissary keeper, which their job is actually to prep the diet and get the diet together and know what the animals eat. We've got your animal care staff, which actually take care of the animal. We've got our education team, which actually the ones that handle like our wolves and our otters and what we're doing now, so that we can educate about them. You got your education and guest experience, and that's actually connecting more on the connecting end. So as an intern, you get to experience all of that. And generally speaking, I will tell you, a job in actual zoology world or in a zoo while education is super, super important, education without experience does not always work, because what we like to see is that you guys can work hard, that you have a passion. And so a lot of times, and for you, you may take 4 years of school and suddenly go to an internship and go, oh my goodness, I hate this, what was I thinking? So we typically recommend during a summer or even while you're in school to take an internship, because that gives you a solid grounding that, hey, I really like this, or hey, this is the part I want to focus on, or primates, I really like primates. There are jobs specific to species. Our facility, we try to do a lot more crossing. So if you like, I really like the idea of experiencing all of it and doing the different things and learning a lot, that's our kind of facility. But if we do an internship here, we also talk about how different style zoos there are out there. And if you're like, I really just like primate, I like them getting mad at me every day and loving me every day, and a lot of poop to clean and a lot of enrichment. But it is true. But so there are actual facilities that take on just primate keepers, and then same with your big cats. Most of your big cats now, though, just so you know, are all protected or non-contact, and just because of the safety part of it. And ultimately, the end game is still to educate, and to all the education is so that we care more for our environment, which means we're more aware to reduce, reuse, recycle, and the native things in our own backyard, all the way to knowing that, hey, I can go over to, if I want to live in Africa and help, do some of the conservation over there, or in Australia. So there's a lot of options, but yeah, internship is a great one. Volunteering at your rehab centers, volunteering at your either local zoos, summer camps, do summer camps. So
yeah, the Department of Natural Resources too, or the Bureau of Land Management, both have volunteer programs. I've done quite a bit of research with both of those organizations. A lot of your universities will take on volunteers for certain research projects. Wildlife work out in the wild is, you're not cleaning as much, but it's outdoors, and it's lugging stuff 10 miles in, and it's physical work, but it's very, very rewarding.
And you'll find, we talk a lot about personalities. You'll find some, like I have 2 daughters, some personalities are very detail oriented. And so research is perfect for them. They like all the details, they like studying. You'll find others are on the front, they're passionate, they want to share their information with the world, or they love a new challenge. And so you'll find there are certain things that find those niches. And so I always encourage people to be like, I always tell my kids too, be your own kind of beautiful. So know who you are and you're wired. Don't try to be like your neighbor. Don't let you be that person. Like, you'll learn, like, there may be 5 people all love animals, but all are going a different direction in their career and finding their strengths in it. All right, just like this beautiful guy here.
Anybody know what this is?
We can guess with this one. I'm sure we got this one.
Notice he has no legs. His temperature is the same as the environment around him. He cannot keep his own temperature up. He's thinking about going elsewhere at the moment, so I'm going to stand up. He's a little happier that way. There you go. If you'll notice that tongue coming out, he's checking his environment. That's a part of their tasting and smelling. Well, now he's not even going to do that. He's just going to stare at you. I think he likes you guys.
There you go.
There you
Did you guys
go.
see that?
Now this is a
can
ball
tell. He's looking
python.
fun.
So usually if he's upset, he'll curl into a ball. As you can see, he's highly relaxed right now. You see all the various patterns on his back for his camouflage. So he could be hanging in the tree right next to you and you won't see him.
Thank you for
Any
making me
questions?
check all trees when I walk outside again.
When you're doing wildlife work, you always look up. Always look up.
And down and around. So yeah, the snake's one of my favorite species to talk about, because I love what you guys go, yeah, no, I saw that comment, by the way, yeah, no. So I would say a snake doesn't have legs, it can't run after you. A snake can't fly, so it can't fly after you. Its best defense is hoping you don't see it, which is camouflage. So if you ever come across a snake, like, it's really staying still and hoping you don't see it. If he thinks you saw him, like, he'll stay even more still because he realizes he really doesn't have any defense. They eat their prey whole, and we are too big for him to eat. So we're not even on the sphere of him wanting to eat us. Their bite actually is very mild because they rely on eating their food whole and constricting. If he were to bite you, it's going to do more mental damage than it is physical damage. It's usually going to be like a paper cut. Not saying you won't have nightmares because of it, but that's all going to be mental. But the actual damage physically that a snake can do to you of this size is actually minimal to none. Obviously, your large giant snakes, yes, if one got a hold of you, most of the time when that happens, if a big snake gets a hold of somebody, it's typically because They just were being careless with it. They were putting a big snake around their neck. That snake was, they just basically rubbed their pet rabbit all over their body and then picked up a big snake, and it, smelled the rabbit. So, or in some cases, it's a carelessness. A lot of them were just people getting out of hand with pet snakes. That's why a lot of the new regulations don't allow snakes over 6 feet. But there's some pros and cons of that, because again, it's really what we try to say is responsible ownership, responsible welfare, and caring for the animals. So a big snake is not actually any potentially more dangerous than a small one, if you know what you're dealing with and you know that he's a large snake. Because again, he doesn't really want to eat you. You're not that tasty to him. But I love the fact that these guys actually have a backbone, once you don't realize that, and it's actually very flexible. It's their spine, so it can move around. They do have a tail, believe it or not, that is separate from their, the tail is here, the spine stops here. And so the spine curves so they can actually slither around. Now, do they have ears? Here's your question. Do they have ears or do they not have ears? Anybody? Oh, good job. Very good. They don't have ears. Anybody know what they realize? They can't hear you. How do they know you're coming?
Oh.
Very good. I see that. They use their tongue. They take in particles from their environment, put them, called the Jacob organ, then they connect them to the brain. That's one way. What else? Taste the air, the same idea, using that tongue, the Jacob organ at the end of the tongue goes in. But there's another way.
I said the vibrations.
The tail, not so much the tail. What about what's happening when they're slithering? Hey, good job. They feel the vibration. Very good. So when you're moving, and I know this well with my hearing loss, I will sometimes hear music, but I will hear the thump, thump, thump of somebody rocking out beside me. And so they can feel you moving and that vibration coming through. Really good. So very good. They actually don't have very good eyesight either. And do they have eyelids? Nope, I like it. No, nope. Good job. Absolutely, they do not have eyelids. They cannot blink. So that makes them different and unique from lizards, because believe it or not, there are some lizards that don't have legs. You can't always go by the leg or leg thing, because there are legless lizards, but you can go by the fact that snakes cannot blink. They do not have ears, or the two biggest things with them. They also have heat sensors. There's a pit along their nose. That's where they tape in. They can sense the heat around them. And that tells them if there's a predator or prey close to them. What's their favorite food? And it's not your sister or brother. That's not their favorite food.
He's watching you.
Very good. Rats, mice, good. Very good, because those are the ones, and they'll sit for hours, wait for a mouse or rat to come up to them. So what's cool about these guys, because they're cold-blooded, meaning they rely on the temperature of the air around they rely on the temperature of the air around them to digest their food. They actually have a slow metabolism because of that. And so they may only need to eat once a week, maybe once a month. And so that, like ball pythons, are actually known to go almost 8 months without eating at times. Sometimes they're just waiting for food. Sometimes they just got too cold and their metabolism slowed down that much. But our reptiles, our snakes here, legless lizards, yes. We do not have any legless lizards in Georgia, so that's the good news. And the ones we have actually in Florida are like that big. But that's a very fair question. Because I do always say, if you see a snake, we always hear like, how do you know if it's poisonous, or actually the word is venomous or not? So you know if it's venomous or not. I always make the joke that if you're that close to tell, you're probably too close, because you can tell by the slit in their eyes and the pits and the rattling of tail. But I say leave the snakes alone, you'll be good to go.
It is actually illegal in Georgia to kill a non-venomous snake. So don't go killing every snake you see, because it actually is illegal, because our non-venomous snakes keep down our rodent population, which keeps disease down. So, and interestingly enough, we've got a couple of snakes, especially in our area here in Cleveland, that will keep the venomous snakes away from the area. So you actually want those non-venomous snakes around your house, because then you won't have the dangerous ones.
Yeah, so a student just asked, like you just said, how do you know if it's venomous? Because until you just said it, I had no idea that it was against the law to kill a non-venomous snake. So that's new for me.
It can be tough. The black rat snake that we have in this area, when they're small, look very, very much like the copperheads, which is a venomous snake. The best way that I have for telling from a distance is its shape. If it's long and thin, it's probably safe. That doesn't mean go pick it up. It just means that it's probably not going to bite you with any kind of fang. The ones that we have venomous in this area tend to be fairly thick and don't climb trees very much. Now, we do have a water moccasin, the cottonmouth. They can climb some trees, but they don't climb very well.
Yeah.
Listen,
So,
you-
yeah, copperheads, water moccasins typically always stay above the water. Copperheads the most common, rattlesnakes, the rattle, but they do have slit eyes, heat pits, and a diamond head shaped head. But like I say, if you're that close to see all that, you're
That's
probably
right.
too close.
listen,
And most of our venomous snakes are they're opportunistic. They're more likely to curl up and hide and catch you when you get close. Whereas the ones that are wandering around usually are non-venomous. Not always, but mostly.
there are two pieces of information that you gave me already today that I don't know if I need it, but I'm gonna receive.
I
was-
understand.
One of them was, if you see a snake, don't go pick it up. I don't,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
one. The
You'd
second
be
was,
surprised how many people need to hear that.
I am not one. The second one was, if you want a pet, get a rat. I don't think I've ever heard that as a suggestion, but okay.
They're better than hamsters. They are. They're better than
Yeah,
hamsters.
I've never heard anybody say, if you want a pet, go get a rat. I've
get a
never
rat.
heard that. I've never.
Now, let's clarify, not a wild one, a domestic one. Because wild rats might be a
They
little,
probably bite.
yeah.
Okay.
Come on, buddy.
Not many. All right, you guys ready for your next animal?
Does anybody know what this is?
Oh, cool.
Very good, armadillo.
So if you can see, he's curled up very, very tight. And if you notice, when he gets really upset, his nose will go under his tail. This is the three-banded armadillo. He's from Central and South America. They're the only ones that can curl up this tight. Now, we do have armadillos in our area, but they're the nine-banded, and they only curl up a little bit, and then they kind of hop, which is what makes them roadkill so often, because they see the car, curl up, hop up, and hit the bumper. So they're not very good with stuff like that. But these guys, these are the three-banded, and you'll notice those claws. They're very, very, very good diggers. So when he's not too upset, we'll see if he'll open up a little bit.
I call them the dancing armadillos because they tap dance. You watch the little clothes.
There he goes. You see how he walks around a little. He does much better in sandy soil than he does on hard surfaces.
Mm.
There you can see him a little bit more. There's his face.
Look at those claws. Perfect for digging up those insects. And that long nose. Oh, these guys are cool. Their tongue is actually almost as long as their body. Like not quite as long, but he's got a tongue like that long. Just like your anteaters. And that tongue slurps up all those ants and all those bugs.
Now, interestingly enough, our nine-banded came up through Georgia following the fire ants, because as the fire ants invaded our space, the predators followed them, and they love fire ants. So while it may be odd to have a nine-banded armadillo in the North Georgia mountains, they're here because the ants are here.
So yeah, I saw that somebody said that they never seen one alive. It is fascinating. I remember, you probably remember years ago when they didn't
They weren't
think-
here.
they didn't think they were coming up, and there was a whole debate and that they would be able to handle the cold. But if you see them now, like she said, it's kind of like you'll see that one on the side of the road that's dead, you're like, oh my goodness, they're here.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
you don't
They
see
made it
them
into
much,
North
but
Carolina.
usually because yeah. So they were not here 10 years ago, but they are here now. So
Okay, now he's sticking his leg out a little bit. You can see how scaly he looks. He is actually a mammal. You can see the hair. But look how scaly that leg is. And his armor is extremely hard.
hey, look, you can hear it knocking. It's why it looks to why is it called three-banded? Show them the three-band.
1, 2, 3.
Very good. So and it's really, this is the only species of armadillo, interesting enough, it's actually one of the smaller ones. All species of armadillos are found in the Americas. The only one in North America is the nine-banded, which is larger. The smallest is the three-banded. And actually, even though all the cartoons show like armadillos rolling into a ball perfectly, the only one that can roll into a perfect ball like that is the three-banded. All the rest can kind of curl up a little bit, but they cannot roll all the way up. But the three-banded actually has a perfect, the nose is like a triangle, it fits right in between the feet, and it rolls into a perfect ball. you do not want your hand stuck into his body when he rolls up, because it goes down as a clamp, trust me, I know. So, but those guys are really cool. Oh, any questions about the three-banded? Or any armadillos? What things you've heard?
That's cool. That's really, those are really, one of the students said they've never seen one alive. Like, I guess.
Yeah, it's true. It's funny because I remember I was one who was like, it's like, I kept saying, there's no way they're gonna make it to North Georgia because it's too cold. But they actually, then they kind of wander up following the ants and the other stuff, and then you'll usually discover that they're around because you find them on the side of the road. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got alligators moving north too, because they're getting used to the
Yeah.
cold weather. What they've done in North Carolina, South Carolina, the places where it is cold, is the alligators will stick their nose above the pond, above the water. And as the water freezes, they just hang out. And so these animals we thought that will only be in warm areas,
Or adapting.
they're adapting quite well.
So let me ask about armadillos. Do armadillos fight? That's a fair question. They're actually pretty solitary, so they actually will go on their own way and find their own dens and that kind of thing. So they're not as likely to fight as much as just like if they go into a den, kind of fall up and not move and protect themselves. So
Yeah, I have actually two that live behind my house, and they only fight when they get into breeding season. Then you'll see them fighting more.
just like you guys, they start fighting over girls. It happens in
Fighting
the
over
animal
girls,
world
yes.
too. Can't get rid of it.
So you said the alligators will stick their noses out of the water when the pond freezes over?
Yep.
So they'll just break the ice and
Yeah, you can actually go online and find the videos of just this entire pond of nothing but noses stuck up above the ice.
And that's their bromation phase, because they're cold-blooded. They can slow their metabolism down so low that they can handle that for a short amount of time until they
Yeah, they
thaw
stop
again.
eating in fall. Alligators and other like a lot of your snakes and whatnot, they all stop eating in the fall and just don't eat during the winter because since they can't keep their body temperature high, they can't actually digest. So they just stop eating until it gets warm again.
Yep.
So here's our next guy. Speaking of reptiles, anybody know what this is? This is a bearded dragon from
Good job.
Australia. Oh, he likes you too. He's very interested in that camera. Yeah. Now you'll notice he's a nice color, orangey yellow color. Now they do come in different colors, but all of the colors will be sandy colored, rocky colored, because that's their camouflage. And if you'll look right around their head, see all those spikes? If he gets really upset, he'll blow all that up and lift it and make himself look really big and scary. Right now, he just wants to get down and play. Oh, there he goes. See, he's working it a little bit. See the head? There we go. Take him down.
What you can do is get a.
Yep. So he's wanting to move, so we're gonna let him move. There we
So
go.
what we're gonna do. Oh, there you go. You got it.
Okay, so now you can see him a little bit. He's gonna sit there for just, so his spikes are coming out just a little bit on the back, all along the sides, around the cheeks. He's saying he's a little bit worried, but not much. He's very, very friendly. Now, if you can see his paws, there we go, and his claws. He does really well in that sandy, rocky soil. Let me see if I can get him to turn over for half a second.
Show
so
him the
you
ear.
can see his
Talk
back
about
end.
lizards having ears and snakes
So-
not having ears.
There's his big old claw on his
Oh, there you go.
finger.
Yep.
And you'll notice that his back end, his hands and paws are quite oddly shaped. This makes it good for moving around where he lives. Now you can see his ears. There we go. Good. He's being very good for you guys today. I think all our animals like you.
So yeah, their ears are very unique because they don't have the earlobes like we do, because they don't wear earrings.
Yeah, you can't put an earring on a lizard. At least not this kind of lizard. Although, if you'll notice, you can see a little bit of that bit of spike flap that goes over the ear. So he can either fold that down and close it a little bit, or he can open it up if he needs to.
So I like that note somebody mentioned about shedding. So you're ahead of us on that. So I'm
Good.
glad that your teacher's very proud, because then you know, like all your reptiles shed. So your snake shed in one full piece, whereas your lizard will shed more in flakes as they grow. So
Most reptiles, you'll notice too, that their backs and fronts are a little different. So this is his back, and you'll see that the scales are a little bit rougher. They're a little bit sandier. And if you look at his belly, if you'll let me turn him over a little bit,
So-
there it is. It's a
So
little
I
bit
think it's
softer.
on, Andy's asking about the shedding. If you, it sounds like you might have a reptile pet. So when you're helping them shed, if you're just rubbing your hand along and it's coming off, it is fine. If you have to kind of pull on it and pull on the skin, you don't want to do that. You can at that point give them a moist little bath and rub it off with a moist cloth or something like that. And that actually feels good to them. Shedding for them is kind of itchy. So like they do enjoy it, like, oh, that feels good to get it off. But if you're pulling out too much, it means it hasn't released yet. You could tear off those scales, and scales on reptiles do not grow back. So the shedding, they will shed continually, but once that tip, they get it, like if they get into a fight or they scrap or there's something hits them and breaks off scales, those scales do not grow back. They'll develop scar tissue there. They'll continue to shed. It's pretty cool because their shed will actually show where the scar tissue is and not have scales.
I'll let you see his eyes a little bit. So most people think that reptiles all have slitted eyes. You'll notice that his are shaped a little bit funny. They've got a different shaped pupil than some of your others, not slitted like your snake's eyes, which not all snake eyes are slitted as well.
So bearded dragons got their name because when they're anxious or mad, they puff up their beard. It looks like they need to shave and it gets really black, and they'll bob their head and try to look really big. That's why too, their spikes will puff out, their whole bodies will puff out. And that's kind of like they go into a threatening posture and hope to scare away their predators.
They said, what kind of foods does he eat?
Good question.
What kind of foods does bearded dragon eat? They're going to be herbivores and insectivores. So it's considered an omnivore because when you're doing insects, you're actually eating meat, but they don't eat a whole lot of major meat.
This one likes to eat his salad and his bug. And
he likes bugs in the salad.
So, bugs and salad.
We don't like bugs in the salad.
No.
Bugs and
I always
salad.
say my animals eat healthier than I do, so
They do.
they really do. So, all right. Do you guys have any other questions? This is actually the wrap up here. We'd love having you guys. I forgot. I want to mention something, and I can send information. We do have a teen camp for those who are really interested. We have 2 weeks in July. It's called Creation Encounters, and we just actually have you guys actually come and get incredible amounts of experience with animals, and also get grounded in nature. And then we do talk about in that camp, we do reference a creator who's created all these animals. So, but if you're interested in that, I can send information or go to our website, nogowild.com. That's an overnight camp, so you would come and stay. We do offer scholarships. So it is, we are actually turning that part of that facility into a nonprofit, so that we are hoping to be able to invest more in kids like you. I mean, young adults like you.
That sounds pretty awesome. I would love for you to send us some information on that. Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome.
All right.
That's awesome.
Any other questions?
Let me type it. How do I type the chat in? It won't help you yet. I'll send it to you. If you go to nogowild.com, but I'll send you the direct information to Creation Encounters. It's on there. That's the Creation Encounter camp. It's our main zoo page, but then we have a separate link. I'll send it, and so you have that, and then our intern program. So we are developing a docent program for high school kids, but it probably won't launch until fall, a little bit later, because as with everybody, we're in staff pandemic.
I understand.
So,
Absolutely.
All of our
right.
staff are endangered.
Right. So,
Nice.
all right. Would you guys have a good time?
I did. I had a wonderful time. Thank you so much for all of this wonderful information. Do you guys have? Oh, let me ask, because I did ask in the beginning. Where did you guys go to college, and what were your majors? I just always like to ask guests when we have them.
So the humorous part of me is I actually graduated with a youth ministry outdoor education degree. And so, but our mission statement is to bring people and animals together to glorify God so that no life goes untouched. I'm passionate about people and animals. I'm always saying that people will not be passionate about animals unless you're passionate about them. So our heartbeat is care, connect, and serve. So we care for people and animals, connect with animals, and serve. Let's say like your degree, whether it's business or zoology or biology, all of those, they'll play a vital role into whatever direction you go.
There's a spot in the zoo
getting
for all
that.
of
So,
them.
all right, Angie, your turn.
So I started in communications as a BS, and then I went into a master's in biology. My master's in biology was mostly conservation. So it's a subsidized program. So we end up in a lot of third world countries helping their scientists do their work. So basically for 3 years, you're just grunt labor for all the scientists. It's a great way to learn. It also costs less, which I was very happy about. So I got to see a lot of different types of animals. And so it really, like she was saying, anything that you want to go into, there's a spot in wildlife work for that work.
Yep.
That's wonderful.
Cool.
So as we wrap up, do you have any last minute questions for our guests? I just want to give you guys the opportunity just in case.
We have over 400 animals here, approximately 100 species of animals, a lot. So if you have a chance to come visit us, we do, like I said, we couldn't bring them all on screen, but if we could, we would, trust me. But yeah.
Okay, good stuff. So that's a different question. Okay, that question was for me. So after our guests leave, I'll answer your question, Haiti.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, and we got some thank yous in the chat.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, so thank you guys for joining us. That was a wonderful presentation. We got a lot of great information there. So thank you so much for bringing all of those cute and furry animals. So I asked some of y'all earlier today, what was your favorite animal? So I'll just ask now, and y'all can unmute yourselves now. I cut all the mics off a little while ago, but if you want to talk now, you're more than welcome to. So out of today's presentation, what was your favorite animal? So you can type it or you can tell me. Either way works.
It was a snake.
Snake, the chinchilla. Okay, chinchilla, snake.
Tarantula.
The tarantula. Anybody else? I said out of the presentation today, I didn't see any monkeys. There was no
The chinchilla.
I like the chinchilla.
Armadillo.
Yeah, the chinchilla.
Okay. Okay, the chinchilla. Okay, it's good stuff. All
Mr.
right.
Can you have a question for Miss Holt?
Okay, she's still here. Go ahead.
What's the bug called that you can feed the leopard geckos? It's a turquoise looking bug. It's like a treat, but it's not like an everyday type meal.
There's a bug that you said geckos eat.
Yeah, leopard geckos.
And it's turquoise. There's a
Yeah, hornworms. Yeah, Kamora answered it for me.
Okay. Good job, Kamora. There's no idea that bugs is not my thing. I only like to bug you guys. Ha, ha, ha. See what I did there? No? Okay. No? Okay.
LOL, so funny.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We'll talk a little bit more to the students.
When are we going?
Oh, wait, Haiti.
What was the
wait,
time?
Haiti. Wait,
Bye.
Haiti. That's for me.
Bye.
That's not
Thank
for
you
her.
again for having us. We appreciate it.
All right, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Bye.